Hi, everybody. I am Debbie Belaus with Feel Good Qigong, and I'm here to talk about bones and tapping the bones, or osteo tapping. In Qigong, we do a lot of tapping for a lot of different reasons, but I specifically want to talk about the advantage of bone tapping and how the bones relate to our immune system. We have 206 bones, and we have different types of bones. We have flat bones, and we have round bones, tubular bones, and seed-like bones, small seed-like bones. But the bones are directly connected to our immune system. And since we really want to be careful of keeping our immune system very healthy and strong, tapping the bones is one way of creating self-care for yourself to keep your immune system strong. The bones have a spongy-like substance inside the bones itself called bone marrow. Now, in the bone marrow produces your red bone cells and your white bone cells. Now, the red bone cells transport oxygen throughout the body, and the hemoglobin releases it into the tissues. They also remove carbon dioxide from tissues and bring it back to the lungs. So a lot of that red blood cell is part of your respiratory system. The white blood cells helps fight infection by defending the body against viruses, bacteria, and other germs. Most of your white blood cells are outside of the blood in other tissues and organs in your body. So when we are palpating, when we are tapping the bones, we're also helping to produce our red and white blood cells for that immune system. It also helps to increase stimulation and aids with new formation of bone, strengthens the bone tissue, and stimulates growth of the bone marrow. So bone tapping also helps to keep your red and white blood cells going, but it also helps to keep the bone strong. Our bones are porous, and they have to be porous, but if they're too porous, then they start to break. What happens is, if your bone, you've heard of osteoporosis, it's very common in older people. It creates a lot of falls and breaks, fractures. So the bone has to break down and then rebuild itself. That's why we do bone density exercises. That's what it does. But also the tapping of the bone will also give you that bone density that you need. And we're directly tapping on flat bones and round bones, which produce those red and those white bone cells that help with, your white blood cells help with infection, as I had mentioned, and they produce very rapidly and they die very rapidly. So by stimulating the bones, you're getting vibration, you're getting circulation, you're keeping the health of the bones, which will also keep the health of your immune system. Very important to remember, especially for this time of year. We're in flu season. And on top of that, we have all this other COVID stuff going on. So one thing that you can do for yourself that's very easy to do is the osteo tapping or bone tapping. So I'm going to demonstrate how to do it so you have something to refer to. You can do this as often as you need to. It's quite easy to do. So we're going to come to standing. You can also do this in a chair if you need to do it in a chair if you're not feeling well or you're compromised in some sort of way. So it could be done either way. What we're going to use is a little, it looks like little fist, but you're not holding the fist really tight. They're just enough that you can maybe put an egg in them to tap. We also tap this way as well. So I'll demonstrate this for you, and then you can try it on your own. So we'll start with tapping the flat bone on the skull. So I talked about the flat bone. We have flat bones on the skull. We have flat bones on our sternum, flat bones on our scapula, flat bones on the pelvis. So this part of the body, our skull, is a flat bone, and we're tapping it for that blood circulation. We're tapping the flat bone because it produces your red and white blood cells as well. So we're stimulating the bone. That will stimulate your bone marrow, where the bone marrow then converts into red and white blood cells. So that's the process of the tapping. So this is called osteo tapping. In Qigong, we call it bone tapping. It also creates circulation of your fluids, of your blood. So it has many different benefits. Also, tapping the head, especially the skull, is good circulation for your brain. So it has a lot of different benefits besides just for the bones. Now we're going to tap around our eyes, another area that it feels wonderful, but not only that, but we're also tapping along the, right under the orbit of the eye. There's bones right there. We're going to tap around the jaw, lots of bones right here. Again, we're all doing this for stimulation to help produce our white and red blood cells, especially the white blood cells for infection, to fight off infection. So our bones have a lot of purposes, and they're just keeping them stimulated, keeping it circulated, doing some, this is also good for bone density, and doing some bone density exercises as well. All will help in the health of your bones. Now we're going to start to use those little, or you can use your fingers, or you can make little fists with your hands and tap here on the sternum. Now the sternum is a flat bone. So also your thymus gland is in here as well, which is a gland that helps to, for your immune system. It helps to keep your immune system strong, also to fight infection. So we're not only tapping this flat bone here in the sternum, we're also tapping that thymus gland, which also helps to produce your white blood cells. So a little bit of tapping. Again, you can use little bird's nests, I call them, tapping, or you can use your fingers, your fingertips to tap. You want to feel some vibration. You don't want to hit it so hard that you're going to hurt yourself. Now we're going to take that little fist and we're going to tap right along this region of the clavicle bone. Right along the region of the clavicle bone. Again, bone tapping, osteo tapping. Now we're going to tap right in the, where your clavicle bone ends and meets up with the shoulder, right in that little nest area. Now we're going to take your flat hand and you're going to tap down the inside of your arm, right down to the wrists, fingers, and then we're going to come up. We're going to come up the arm to the backs of the shoulder blade. Again, that scapula area is a flat bone. We're going to tap all along this region again, underneath, around the breast tissue, around alongside the ribs. Ribs are also flat bones. So we're tapping the ribs. And then we're going to come over to the other side, tapping that clavicle bone right into that region where the clavicle bone ends and that arm begins, right? And this whole area is a really good place to tap. Taking your hand and now tapping down the inside of the arm, and then on the outside of the arm. Again, we're creating stimulation, back of the shoulder blade, another flat bone. We're going to go around the breast tissue a little bit for some stimulation of lymph nodes, and then down the side of your rib cage. The ribs are flat bones as well. So activating all this osteo tapping for the strength of your bone density and also for your immune system. And we're going to tap right down the whole trunk of the body. We have a lot of flat bones here as well. We're going right down to the groin area. Again, osteo tapping for stimulation of circulation. Good for your respiratory system as well. Getting all of that moving energetically. And also you're creating some bone density for your bone strength, and also we're tapping into that bone marrow. Now again, we're going to use those little fists and tap on the head of the femur, one of the largest bones of your body. And you'll feel a little vibration. That's what you want to feel. Then you can go to the side of the hips. Again, tapping the femur, the hips, and this also will stimulate that bone marrow, which then produces your red and white blood cells that will travel through your body. And to keep your immune system strong, your respiratory system strong as well with the red blood cells. White blood cells help with infection. Now you're going to tap right here in the pelvis. These are flat bones again in the pelvis. And then tap down the backs of your legs. And then we're going to come up the legs. Do this several times. Back to the hip bone. Down the sides of the legs this time. And then on the inside of the legs. And we'll continue. Again, so you want to feel a little bit of vibration here. in your body. That vibration helps for stimulating the bones. And then we'll go down the legs again, up the inside. And then just hold. Let's do this one more time. We're going to start tapping the skull, all around the face, lots of bones, even in the jaw and the face, around the eyes. And then we're going to do a little bit of tapping on the sternum, stimulating not only that flat bone that produces your red and white blood cells, but also your thymus gland, that little gland that gets shrunk, but that thymus gland helps with your immune system as well. So it's all about keeping our immune system as strong as we possibly can. Again, this is a very easy self-care thing that you can do on a regular basis to keep that stimulation. Back of the shoulder blade, that's a flat bone again, stimulating that area, down the inside of the arm, on the outside of the arm, around the back of the shoulder blade. Let's do the side, the rib cage, flat bones here. In fact, we'll do the other side as well. So you don't have to do it in any sort of order. Just remember to try to tap the whole body. You know, we have 206 bones. That's a lot of bones. Tap the femur, the side of the hips. We're going to go to the back of the pelvis region, and then down the backs of the legs, up the front of the legs. Tap that femur bone a little bit more, over to the side, and then down the legs. Easy, accessible. You can do the standing, you can do the sitting. And then let's just tap a little bit right in the groin area. This is where our lymph nodes are. Again, really good for your immune system. Want to flush out, the lymph nodes help to flush out toxins. So it's all about getting rid of toxins too, to keep the support of your immune system. And then just hold. And hopefully you feel some vibration, some tingling. You've got some bone density happening here. Also, you're activating your red and your white blood cells for your immune system. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great feel-good day.